So your flour tortillas you're going to make in your oven. You can do this at home. What you want to do is you want to take out the top oven rack, put it aside. You want to make sure that this oven rack is on the very bottom shelf in your oven. Next, you want to take 2 cookie sheets. You want to make sure these cookie sheets fit together perfectly like that. They have to be the same, one on top of the other. Then turn them upside down, place it in the center of that rack, close it up, turn your oven on to the highest it will go. And in these ovens, it's 550 degrees. Remember that you must press start. When you reach that, here we go, start. Give it a long 30 minutes to come to that full temperature. When you preheat on your oven, little light there, goes off, it's ready to go. You need it hot. So for flour tortillas, we've got 1 cup of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of margarine or vegetable shortening. And what we're gonna use here today in our kitchens, we're gonna use our KitchenAid stand mixer. We're gonna use the paddle and the hook. If you don't have one of these at home or in your school, you can use the pastry cutter to work in the butter and then mix in the flour and salt and water with a wooden spoon, and then finally knead by hand. So to measure 95 mils in a liquid measuring cup, I need to get down to eye level. That means my eyes are at the level of the measuring cup. I want to make sure the bottom of the water, that meniscus it's called, is just under 100 milliliters. That'll give me 95 milliliters. I've got my margarine, salt, flour here. I'm adding my 95 milliliters of warm water, making sure my bowl goes well into the mixer. 3 different places to lock it in. You're gonna use a paddle first thing here. Lock it in place, raise up your mixing bowl, put it on 1 or 2. You're gently mixing all the ingredients together here. Once the dough has come together, all those 4 ingredients, I'm going to take the paddle off, get all that stuff off the paddle, best you can here, and then you're going to replace the paddle with the dough hook. And the purpose of the dough hook here is to knead your bread, your dough. Get that going. You want to make sure that all of your dough is being worked. If that stuff is not coming off of your bowl over there, stuck to it, you've got to stop your bowl, your mixer, get that off, and make sure it turns and joins the ball that's moving around. If you don't have a KitchenAid mixer or a kitchen stand mixer, you can knead this dough on the countertop with your hands. So our dough here has been kneading with the dough hook, and as I said, you don't have to use a kitchen stand mixer. Same amount of time with your hands on the countertop, but this is done. I'll turn it off. How do I know when it's done? Well, it's been kneading for about 8 to 10 minutes. I pull it out. It's not sticky and sticking to your hands. Nice consistency, soft like your bum. So here's my dough, and I want to break it up into 4 tortillas there. I take a little bit of flour here. Again, I've shown some of my students how to do this, just a light dusting of flour on the countertop. Take your dough, and you want to make sure you got somewhat of a nice ball there. And I'm going to divide this in half. And each of those halves I'm going to divide again in half, so I've got 4 tortilla. Then what I do is I take my dough and I just want to simply make a ball and flatten it into a little disc. So now that I've got my balls, and I want to form with my hands a disc shape, rotating and squishing to a small disc. Lightly floured countertop, both sides of the little dough disc. Tap it down, take your rolling pin, a little bit of flour on there. Here's the trick. Rolling pin on there. You want to get this started. So I start on an angle like that, and I change my angle and I'm rotating it clockwise. Just while I am slightly going to turn that over, just rolling back and forth. Got enough flour on my countertop so that my tortilla does not stick. Again, flip that over, and I'm rolling and I'm turning my rolling pin. It's a trick.
And your body.
Takes a while to figure out how to do this, and some people do this with their moms, their grandmothers, so they are naturals at it. And you want to roll this out until you have a flat tortilla about 3 millimeters thick.
very thin.
So here I've got 1, 2 rolled out tortillas ready to go. And I'm gonna be quick here, folks. I'm gonna get my tortilla, 1 hand or 2 hands, right onto those cookie sheets quickly. Close your oven, let it rip. I set my timer immediately for 2 minutes and I press start. After 2 minutes on one side, open up your oven again quickly, flip them, close your oven up quickly, and 1 more minute, timer. After 3 minutes total cooking time, what we have here is a nice, fresh, homemade flour tortilla. Out they come, close your oven up, let it heat up again for another minute or so, and then keep I've got different tortillas here I've cooked. The perfect tortilla does not have any golden brown on it, and you can roll this up, you can fold it like if you want to for a burrito. But those that have golden brown, they're like crackers. They crack, they break, you fold them in half, it'll break on you. So you don't want it to be golden, you want it to be just cooked just before. We have cleaning your work area here where you've had flour. Take your rolling pin and rub off all of that flour. Sometimes you can use your pastry scraper, turn your rolling pin and scrape off that flour that's stuck to it. Here's a good old trick. Driving forward all the time, pushing hard, a little elbow grease, get in there, and get all your flour, scrape it off, bring the garbage can right up to the counter, and get all that stuff.